Sergey Kovalev gets legendary black trainer in his corner ahead of the Eleider Alvarez 2 rematch in Texas. Stay tuned. Boxingego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We working. Now, I've been meaning to make this particular video for some time, and I actually, had other things to do. And I'm surprised that no one else I've seen really even talk about this. But it looks like Kovalev is rematching Eleider Alvarez. As you guys should know if you watch boxing, Eleider Alvarez defeated Kovalev, knocked him down a total of 3 times, and stopped him. Some people were shocked by it, me not so much, based on the Andre Ward fights and just how Kovalev embraced those losses and stuff like that. Nonetheless, it looks like he's going to be fighting in a rematch against Eleider Alvarez in a rematch, dangerous fight in 2019, the top of the year in Texas. Now, what people aren't talking about is Kovalev has a new trainer for this particular fight, and it's a legendary black trainer, Buddy McGirt. And I think this is interesting because the last time he had a black trainer, it was kind of tumultuous and it ended in a very, very hectic and I wouldn't say a positive way. That was John David Jackson, former fighter turned trainer. And Kovalev said, "I started to continue my boxing career in training camp for the rematch with one of the best trainers in the world, Buddy McGirt." So that's who Kovalev's going to use for this Eleider Alvarez. This is a must-win scenario in my view. I think it's a must-win situation for Kovalev just because former champion, he became a champion again through a vacancy. He had like 1 title defense and then he lost to Eleider Alvarez. So, if he were to lose again, we just know boxing's unforgiving, and a lot of losses in a crunched up small period of time, it just looks a certain way to fans, and people say you should retire, especially if it's a bad loss. There's only so much damage and psychological drain you can take any one fighter. So he's gonna have to want to look good, and I guess that's why he's mixing it up and switching trainers. But last time his trainer with John David Jackson, they didn't end on good terms, and there was a lot of trash talk and different things from both parties. John David Jackson he released a lot of information after leaving that situation about Kovalev was nasty, and even kind of alluding to Kovalev being racist. And this is something that's plagued Kovalev when he sent Adonis Stevenson a picture with the little boy, and he had a monkey shirt on, a gorilla shirt, and then he said, hey Adonis, look, you're on the shirt, or something, something like that, and different things like that. So it'll be interesting to see how this partnership works. Buddy McGirt, former fighter, also a legend in the game, good trainer, and we'll see. Other thing that's concerning to me is Kovalev. I don't think he's been the same since the Andre Ward fights, me personally. And I've said that since day one. A lot of people said, oh, Ward hit him low and this and that. But look at his performances when he stepped up with competition. The first time he stepped up with the guy with some good skill, didn't even have crazy pro level experience, in terms of this, crazy names. It's not like he had fought the best light heavyweights, and some of it's not even his fault because he was trying to fight Adonis Stevenson. But the first time he did, he gets knocked out brutally, and dropped. But moreover than that, just Kovalev didn't really seem to embrace his losses well. He was constantly looking to blame other people, the judges, the refs, the state of Nevada and Las Vegas, his trainer. And one of the things about that is, even though he left John David Jackson, he had another trainer. He got another trainer right after that, and the trainer works with a lot of gold medalists, and he speaks Russian, so they had the language barrier. And according to Kovalev, he was so happy because he said John David Jackson didn't really train him well and didn't teach him the right things, and he basically had to train himself after they had broke up the relationship after so many years. And then he said he was loving this Olympic trainer who spoke they spoke the same common language and things like that. But then you lose with him too, and then now you switch a trainer again. I thought you said you prefer a trainer where you speak the same common language, like Russian, And then now when you lose, you get rid of him too, and he was supposed to be the ticket. So that stuff like that shaky. Same thing with Andre Ward. The first Ward fight, he lost, but it was a close fight. He says he gave Ward too much credit. He thought Ward was better than what he really was, and he overtrained for the fight. Then in the rematch, in the buildup, it's revealed that he gets a strength and conditioning coach who works with like Olympians too, some triathlon trainer. And then if you said you overtrained for the first fight, then why do you need to introduce some triathlon Olympian sports and medicine strength and conditioning guy, And then when you lose, this time it's not even close. You lose worse, in my opinion, in the Ward rematch. Then what do you say? Oh, he hit me low and Tony Weeks stopped it prematurely, and you still don't give Ward full credit. You said someone asked him, I was at the press conference, they were like booing him. They said post-fight, is Ward the best guy you fought? And he said, yeah, he's the best dirty fighter I've ever fought. Okay, so you overtrained for the first fight, and John David Jackson didn't give you, enough information. Then you get rid of John David Jackson. You still lose to Eleider Alvarez, by knockout. 3 knockdowns. You overtrain for the first fight. The second fight, you undertrain, but you have an Olympian triathlon, trainer. You still look like you had stamina issues. It's like all over the place. And, now he says John David Jackson didn't teach. It's basically looking like what John David Jackson said was true, because he's claiming John David Jackson didn't train him and teach him, and the language barriers and different things created problems, and he likes the new guy that he had who spoke Russian. And then you got with this Russian trainer who trains a lot of prominent Olympians and stuff, and you guys have the same common language. You said you loved it, everything was good, and you're actually learning stuff, but then you lose worse than you lost when you were with John David Jackson, And then now you get rid of him, and now you're with Buddy McGirt. So, good luck to Kovalev. We'll see what this all means, but it's a must-win scenario for him. And I'm always weary when I see fighters make all these changes in a short period of time, because it sounds like you won't come to grips with like the reality is maybe some things you can change in your particular life. Chad Dawson did this too. I love Chad Dawson. I think he was a phenomenal fighter, but Chad Dawson, in a short space, he had like 13 trainers, like no bullshit. Scully and Floyd Mayweather Sr. and all these different people. Like I don't see why you would need to bounce around from trainer hop like that. That many times. It's usually not a good look from what I've seen in boxing, because maybe the problem isn't the trainer, maybe it's the student. Just a thought. Maybe you're not willing to learn enough or embracing it. I don't know. I don't know what goes on behind everybody's closed doors and in every camp, but to me, I've always felt like this with Kovalev. He didn't take the Ward losses gracefully, still made excuses, and never fully accepted them. I remember after he lost to Ward by stoppage the second time, so 2 losses to Ward, he did an interview with TMZ and said Ward retired because of him. Like, you can't honestly believe that. And I made videos about this. People said, oh, you're hating and stuff. But how can you believe a man retired that he went almost 24 rounds with you, like 20, 21 rounds or whatever with you in 2 fights, and he stopped you and did better in the second fight, stopped you, and you really want me to believe that he feared you, right? So he retired? Like, does that make any sense to anybody? He was so deathly afraid of you that he retired, but he stopped you. If he was afraid of you, he wouldn't have moved up and fought you, within 3 fights. If he was afraid of you, he wouldn't have gave you an immediate rematch. I can think of several fighters like Lomachenko, right, that had tough fights and never rematched the dude, or to this day haven't. Lomachenko lost to Salido, no rematch. Pacquiao lost to Jeff Horn, no rematch. You let Terrence Crawford beat Jeff Horn, but you didn't rematch him. You went on to Lucas Matisse and let Crawford handle your baggage. You know what I'm saying? So that's just not the actions of someone who's afraid. Ward's afraid, but he's moving up to fight you when he didn't have to. He could have stayed at 168, tried to fight Badu Jack or Gilberto Ramirez or James DeGale, and he would have been the favorite over those guys. He moved up to you, and he even gave you a rematch when people cried about the first fight and the outcome. So we'll see what happens, but to me, it's a must-win for Kovalev. And shout out to Buddy McGirt too. We'll see how this pairing works, but it's gonna be all eyes on this for Kovalev. Let me know your thoughts. Make sure you smash the like button as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.